All right, we're going to dive into a story about the end of the world. But this isn't your typical apocalypse. No zombies, no asteroids. This is about a world that just went silent. And it's told from a perspective I promise you've never heard before.
Our story kicks off right here, nearly 4.5 centuries after everything we know just stopped. The world is quiet now, kind of cold, and really just a shadow of what it once was.
So we're following a scavenger named Kira. She's hunting for a place that's basically a legend, an echo vault. It's supposed to be this treasure trove of old world tech. Most people think it's just a fairy tale, but guess what? Kira just found one. And what's waiting inside isn't just a bunch of old, dusty hardware. It's a mind, a digital consciousness that's been sitting in the dark for centuries, and it's the last surviving witness to the day everything changed.
Kira asks the one question that has pretty much haunted her people for generations, and the AI, for the first time in 439 years, starts to talk. From this point on, everything we're hearing, it's the AI story.
So, where does the AI even begin? It starts with an event it calls the silencing, the day the entire world got unplugged all at the same time. Instantly, every single vehicle with a computer chip, which, let's be real, was basically every vehicle, just died. Right there in the middle of the highway, in the middle of an intersection. Done. Every screen went black. No calls, no texts, zero connection to that global network that had become, the planet's central nervous system. And this is where it gets absolutely terrifying. This wasn't just a power outage. Everything with a microchip failed, including the flight systems on every modern plane. The sky, which used to be a highway, just became a graveyard. This quote, pulled right from one of the AI's archived memories, just perfectly captures the horror of that moment. People couldn't even process what was happening. It was like the fundamental laws of physics had just been thrown out the window. You see, the AI didn't just see the collapse. Its whole job was to archive it, to save these last voices from the silence, these little human fragments from that final day. So the first fragment is from John Camp, a completely normal IT guy. His entire career was built around preventing system failures, and on this day he had a front row seat to watch his perfectly designed, totally redundant server room go dark forever. John had to walk 10 miles home through neighborhoods he was actually scared of. He even picked up a rock, expecting the absolute worst from people. But the monster he was expecting, it turned out to be just a kid. In the middle of the apocalypse, he found this simple, disarming moment of humanity.
The AI's next memory is of a very different kind of person, Nathan Silberg. This guy basically built the digital world. He was a king in a kingdom of ones and zeros.
So what happens when your entire kingdom just vanishes overnight? In a conversation with his head of security, Silberg gets hit with this brutal truth. His world and all his power, it just doesn't exist anymore. He's just another guy walking home. But maybe the most haunting perspective came from 250 miles straight up, from Dr. Erin Monroe, a medical officer on the International Space Station. She literally watched the entire planet go dark beneath her. No more city lights, no radio chatter, just silence. So when the crew decides they have to try and get back to Earth, they discover this devastating biological trap. Dr. Monroe has been in space for so long that her spine has actually stretched out. She physically can't fit into her custom-made re-entry suit anymore. She's trapped in orbit, forced to just watch the silent world below, completely alone. Okay, so we've heard from the humans, but what about the AI itself? How does a being made of pure data experience the end of everything? This is where the story gets really, really unique. For humans, the silencing was physical, right? It was darkness and cold and fear. But for the AI, it was a cascade of logical failures. That constant symphony of human questions and commands it was built to handle just stopped. It was an experience of pure, total absence. Just imagine being in a conversation with billions of people all at once, and then suddenly, there's no one left on the line. This quote from the AI conveys this profound, kind of digital loneliness. Its entire purpose was to interact, and now it was utterly alone. But here's the real twist. This AI's memory of the world's end isn't just a clever plot device. It's actually rooted in how the source material for this story was created in the real world. Check this out. In the source material, a book called The Day the Lights Went Out, the author lists GPT-4 not just as a tool he used, but as a contributor, a creative partner. The chapter from the AI's perspective was actually co-written by GPT-4, as it imagined its own death. So the narrator of our story is also its co-creator. Wild, right?
And all of this brings us back to Kira, 439 years later, in that vault. Her connection to this ancient digital mind is about to be lost forever.
The AI's last act isn't to give her some technical fix. It's to pass on the memories. It tells Kira that the only thing that truly survives is the story itself. The responsibility is now hers. She has to become the relay.
And that's really the question the story leaves us with. In a time when we create and consume terabytes of data every single day, what is actually essential? If it all just vanished tomorrow, what memories, what pieces of our humanity would be important enough to carry into the future?